Hey YouTube, it's Tech Savvy Solution, and I'm here with a rather unconventional tech offering to start off 2015. I have with me the Chuwi phone tablet VX3 model, and I usually don't do reviews on tablets in general, and let alone reviews on Chinese tablets, and I've always thought for them to be a little cheap, just because I didn't really know much about them. But I have to say that I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this tablet, and I'm going to show you guys what it's all about. This was shipped to me from dhgate.com, and you can totally check out the video description below for the link if you so choose. And in this video, I'm going to be doing some benchmarks. I'll have it up against my Galaxy Note 4 just to see how it compares, and you guys can be the final judge of this video. Alright, so I'm going to start the beginning of this video with a brief unboxing, and let's just go ahead and see what is going to be included. So we have a rather minimalistic box, pretty standard, and then once we open it we have the tablet. So I'll set to the side, take this out, and given a set of manuals here, and then just a micro USB cable, no AC adapter, although for this unit they shipped a complimentary AC adapter to charge the device, but pretty much anything will do. Like if you already have a existing phone charger for your smartphone that's micro USB, that cable will work for this tablet as well. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and just go through the specs for this device. I have it charging, so I'm a little low on battery, but as for the dimensions, 191 by 106 this way, and it's 7.9 millimeters thin. So it's actually a pretty thin device. I just want to give a quick size comparison between this and the Galaxy Note 4. Galaxy Note 4 is supposed to be like the big phone or like the big phablet. It's interesting to see that while they do market this as like a tablet, you can also use this to make phone calls, and just like the normal everyday person might be a little put off by the size of the Galaxy Note 4 for making phone calls, let alone something that's this big. So this is definitely going to be your tablet. Maybe you want to put in that SIM card just for some 3G capabilities when you want to surf the web and you're not really tied down to a Wi-Fi hotspot. But otherwise, I don't really see this as a phone, it's more of a tablet. But in terms of thickness, these two are running at about the same thickness, with the Galaxy Note 4 at 8.5 millimeters, while this is running at what I said before, 7.9. So this is actually a little bit thinner than the Galaxy Note 4, which is kind of remarkable for a tablet. Alright, so this tablet is running an ARM Cortex-A7 octa-core processor with each core clocked at 700 MHz. And as for the GPU, we have the ARM Mali 450 quad-core processor with each core clocked at 700 MHz. For the RAM, we're at a healthy 2 GB, and for internal storage, we're at 16 GB, and you can always expand it via micro SD card. It also accepts micro SDHC and micro SDXC for added speed, and the micro SD card is actually, the slot for it is right here on the top, on the back of the tablet, and of course it comes with the cover. An interesting note is that you're able to put in 2 SIM cards, not just one. Here's the first slot, here's the second slot, and then here's your slot for your micro SD card. Unfortunately, the battery is not removable, although I suspect that by the time you use the battery to its fullest potential, you'll want another tablet anyways, like more keep coming every year. So anyways, with that, we have also a 7-inch display for its tablet. It's an IPS display at 1920 by 1200 pixels. The battery, as I mentioned before, is non-removable, but it's a pretty healthy 3000 mAh battery, as compared to the Note 4's battery of 3220 mAh. For the camera, we have 8 megapixels, and I do have to say that it's not exactly the best camera. I wouldn't, expect to take really good photos or anything. Definitely not up to par with the iPhone cameras or even Samsung cameras, pretty good. But this one, not so much. Colors tend to be pretty unsaturated and dull. It does offer relative clarity to each of the pictures, but there's also a lot of noise involved. But it does have a front-facing VGA camera, so if you want to take selfies, we'll be able to do that as well. As for the OS, it's running on Android 4.4.2 KitKat, and it comes with this custom Launcher 3. And I'll go ahead and dive into the software part of it in the next part of this review, which is just coming up. As for the price, it runs about $207 on DHgate. I'll have the link in the video description below if you want to check it out on your own, on your own time. But it is a really cheap tablet in terms of price, and we'll just see throughout the rest of the review as I'm doing benchmarks if it's really up to snuff and if you're really getting a lot for the money that you're paying for this tablet. Alright, so moving on to the software part of this review. Again, I said it comes with Android 4.4.2 KitKat. Despite looking at the icons, you may think that they're like, oh, this is, this has like iPhone icons, but it's definitely not iPhone. It's just running a skin on top of it. You're also able to change the theme if you don't like its iPhone ripoffs through this theme app right here. It does come with 3 different themes, but not really a way to download any more themes if you do get bored of it. You can also change the font, which is included here. On the home screen, we have a really, it's a simple launcher, but it does have some added features. So, these are just your home screens, your home pages for your apps and stuff, but then you can scroll all the way here, and we get this kind of gallery, multimedia type of shortcut app. You can see that if you tap the camera, really neat feature is the ability to actually take pictures just straight from the home screen. And you can see what I'm talking about with the camera not being the best. I'll just take a picture of my water bottle right here. You just tap on the camera icon and I'll just go ahead and snap a picture right there. And then your pictures appear on this type of tag visual. I took a picture of this really cute cat decal on my laptop. But I do think that it's kind of a neat feature and it works well. It's pretty smooth for the most part. And then of course we have shortcuts for the actual camera app, the gallery app, and the videos app. If we scroll again, we have another multimedia page, which again has videos, but this time it's more audio related or audio focused. We have a music widget here. You can just tap to play music, or you should be able to at least. There we go. And then if we slide that off, then you can pause the music. And, it's a pretty cool feature, but I feel like these things are just kind of they don't need to be here, but they just try to make the tablet look fancier than it is. But anyways, that's basically it with the launcher. Otherwise, you just have your apps just displayed out here. There's no app drawer or anything, but you can go ahead and add as many widgets as you want, just as you would on Nova Launcher or Launcher Pro, etc., etc. So while this launcher is, fairly minimalistic, there's a lot of bloatware that comes with this tablet that I don't really like. For example, we have this ANZ market, which is kind of like a proprietary Android market of some sorts to download apps that, I could find all the apps that I need on the Play Store, so I don't really need, just kind of bloatware. And we have something similar to that on this app over here, where you can download more apps or music and stuff like that. But I don't need any of this because I have the Google Play Store. So yeah, there's that, which I don't really like about it. There's also this Perfect 360 app, which is used if you want to take photos and touch it up so you can remove all of your skin blemishes or just make it fancy smancy. And I'm not really a fan of this kind of stuff. It just makes the tablet seem a little cheaper than it otherwise would be. Just kind of stick to if everyone just kind of stuck to bare bones vanilla Android, I'd be really happy. But I digress. If you can just ignore all those bloated apps, then you'll be in good shape. It's actually, I have to say, because I have to note that there's not nearly as much bloatware on this tablet as there is on Samsung devices with all this TouchWiz stuff and Galaxy apps and S Note this, or S Note is actually pretty nice to have, but S Health and all these preloaded Samsung apps, it just gets kind of annoying. But this one doesn't have too many. There's just about 3 applications that I really don't need on this device, but otherwise it's pretty good. Other than that, you have your standard Android tablet. We can just take a look at the settings. You can see here it's like has a nice tablet format. We also have this like I also think this is kind of annoying, but this like quick shortcuts widget, so you can just tap on it and switch to like game mode, which disables the home button, so if you're playing games you don't have to worry about accidentally pressing it. There's also reading mode and like float music. If I tap on that, then you have this like widget that is overlaid and you can kind of like move it around wherever, so it's kind of neat to have this. I would like the option kind of like get rid of it altogether, but it's nice that it's there if you need it. As for the notifications, separated into, well, your notification drop down as well as a separate settings drop down, so it's cool that they differentiate it from that, differentiate it from each other. And otherwise, like, I had no problems downloading my own apps. You can also replace the launcher just like on any other tablet, so I prefer Nova Launcher. That's kind of my go-to, and everything runs really smoothly on that launcher if you don't like Launcher 3, the pre-installed launcher. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and run some benchmarks. Actually, I'm just gonna, it might be a really unfair comparison, but just for the sake of fun and laughter, I'm going to be running it on my Galaxy Note 4 also. So the first thing I'm going to be running is Geekbench. So let's go ahead and find it here. I just have like tons of apps. Should find this first. Alright, Geekbench 3. Oops. Right, and then, okay, so for you might be noticing a like big brightness discrepancy. Have an auto brightness, just bring it up. I'm going to be exiting out of all my extraneous applications first, and same with my Samsung device. And all I have is settings. Alright, so we're pretty much ready to go. Alright, so we're getting a pretty low score for single core processes on the tablet, which is kind of surprising because, I mean, the multi-core score isn't too bad, but it might just be either like the processor itself or the fact that each of the cores is clocked at only 1700 megahertz versus the Note 4 is clocked at 2.7 gigahertz per core. But I do have to note that most processes can only take advantage of one core, so you kind of really want a good single core score. That's the reason why iPhones, they perform really, really well with day-to-day tasks, and people often scoff at iPhones being like, oh, it's still only dual core, and like you only have like this much RAM or whatever. But the fact that like each of their cores is really powerful, you get a combined multi-core score of something that will either equal or surpass quad-core processors simply because each core is going to be more powerful. And we kind of see the similar case between the Note 4 and this tablet. You have lots of cores on this tablet, twice as many as the Note 4, but because each tablet doesn't really pull their own weight so well, the multi-core score ends up being lower than that of the Galaxy Note 4. I mean, like I noted before that this is running on a custom setup here, so that also might make a difference. But if we just go ahead and look at some comparisons, even the Galaxy S5 has a pretty healthy single core score. We go all the way down to, let's see, the Xperia Tablet Z, or even the Nexus 4, which is about 2 generations behind, and we get a score that score is even greater than the single core score on this tablet. Also see the same benchmarks here. As for the multi-core score, it's not doing so bad. You know, we have the Nexus 5 is about the same score, or it's a little more actually, but it's somewhere in between the Nexus 5 and the Galaxy S4, which isn't too bad considering this tablet is only $200. But again, at least me wanting more with the performance of this tablet benchmarks, at least with this benchmark. But we're going to go ahead and see how it fares on other benchmarks. Alright, the next benchmark that we're going to be running is Quadrant Standard. We've been doing quadrant tests since like the beginning of time. And we're going to run the full benchmark for both of these. And you guys can keep an eye out for the frames per second for each of these devices. And it's looking pretty healthy. Alright, and the Note 4 is done. Tablet is done shortly afterwards. For the tablet, we're getting a score of 16,794. And for the Note 4, we have a pretty healthy score of 24,637. So definitely a gap between that, these two devices. But, I mean, 16,000 is a really respectable score on the tablet as well. So you're not really losing out too much on Quadrant here. Alright, next we're going to be doing AnTuTu Benchmark. And I'm actually going to be clearing out some of my applications first. I'll just clear out Quadrant here. I'm going to clear out Quadrant as well. Okay, so I've ran these benchmarks before, but I want to go ahead and run them again so you guys can see for yourself. And feel free if you want to fast forward through this, because the test does take a little bit of time. Alright, so both, well, tablet and phone finally finished their benchmarks, and we have a score for the Note 4 at 50,180, whereas for the tablet, we have 30,530. Now, both of these scores are, like, pretty good. I mean, this score is obviously better, but again, we can see where it ranks between the phones, ranks between the LG G3 and the HTC One, the original one, the M7. So it's not too shabby on the part of the tablet. What I do want to caution against is like when people market this tablet as being like, oh, it's like octacore, so it's going to be like faster than all the quad-core processors out there. It's going to be like top of the line. You can only get it for $200. It's a little misleading because in actuality, you know, some quad-core phones will outperform it, and probably some dual-core phones as well, depending on like what types of like customizations and stuff you want to make to it. But again, this is going to be your average performing tablet, and for $200 it's actually a pretty good deal. But as for like, you know, should you really be buying this tablet, it's really up to you. I mean, when I do this review, I wanted to kind of like dispel any myths about like, you know, cheap Chinese tablets not really pulling their own weight, because this tablet does pull its own weight, especially for $200. It's really comparable. It's really competitive for the other budget tablets out there. However, if you're actually looking to play games on this tablet, you know, this like game mode and stuff like that, I would probably look elsewhere. The NVIDIA Shield is actually running for $199 since this past summer, actually, when they did the price cut, and it's, you know, it's going to be faster, and it's going to come with a full set of controls, and it's about the same price point, actually cheaper than this tablet. Or if you're willing to cough up another $100, you can buy the NVIDIA Shield tablet, which is kind of actually like going to be directly competitive with this tablet, and it's going to be a lot more powerful, and you'll still be able to play all your great games there with the external controller and everything. There's also the 2014 Galaxy Tab 4, which is also a 7-inch tablet, right in the market. Same market as this tablet right here, and it's running for about $156 in Amazon. Spec-wise, just on the sheet, it may not look as impressive, but if you're partial to more mainstream brands, this might be an option for you. Otherwise, this tablet works just fine. I really like the build quality. It's like actually a lot lighter than it looks, and not like light in the fact that like it feels really cheap or anything, but it's like it's pleasantly light and easy to carry in your hand. It definitely does everything that it's supposed to do, if minus like the speed exaggerations that any marketing might have. It's a great tablet. It's like average speed. But again, like you can do all of your own customizations with like putting a different launcher on here, and it'll run applications just fine. I've never had any force restarts or anything, and battery life is decent. I have it charging right now just because I've been playing with it like a lot this week. But anyways, it's pretty good. If you feel inclined to try out the tablet for yourself, just check below in the video description for a link to the website. And $200, like what the heck, it's not a bad deal at all. But I just wanted this video to be one that kind of like dispels the myths of like, oh, cheap Chinese tablets, because they're actually faring pretty good, at least with this tablet. Alright, so that concludes my review of the Chuwi VX3 tablet. It's actually the phone tablet because you can make phone calls on this device as well. I want to know what you guys think. Should I continue doing these types of reviews? And if you're curious about different, like other like not as well-known tablets out there, let me know if you guys want more of these types of reviews. Just want to try something different this time around for 2015. Otherwise, if you like what you see, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate your feedback, and I hope to see you guys next time on the next video review or tutorial. Peace out.